Hey everybody, Cristian West here. I'm glad that you tuned in to What Would You Do? Welcome to the series of videos where Joe and I ask each other critical questions from the executive protection industry. If you like what you see, click here, like and subscribe. And if you have questions that you want us to answer or try to find a solution to, send them to us via email, text. You can find us on social media. I'm sure you have ideas, or you can post them here and we'll play along and take your question. So, welcome to What Would You Do? Season 2. All right, Joe, I got another one for you. This is a good one. So the scenario is you're front right and you have your client in the back seat. Mm-hmm. You're stuck in traffic because traffic is gridlocked. It could be a Times Square situation. It could be any situation where you get to a full standstill and you can't move forward. You can't move backwards. You're kind of boxed in. And you see somebody that comes walking up and starts banging on the client's window, maybe banging on the car in general. What do you do?
Yeah.
It's not justification enough to shoot him.
Yeah, I can't. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head.
No.
So I'm assuming it's not like a violent banging. It's like a getting your attention, asking for money, what have you. What I always try to tell in training and telling our guys is whatever you do is probably better than doing nothing. That's the first thing that helps you just make a decision and go with it. Because getting frozen in that moment and just being like, I don't know what to do, doing nothing is almost always wrong.
Yep.
I think you'd agree with me there. Doing it in that scenario, your principal is going to look out the window, see this guy banging on his window, and he's going to look to you and be like, what are you doing? What are you going to do about it? So doing nothing is almost always wrong. Mm-hmm. Doing anything is probably better than doing nothing. So even something as simple as, just saying, sir, move over. That'd probably be the first thing I would do, is just tell the principal to move away from that window. And this is assuming, there's room next to him to do that or what have you. But either way, in the context as you described it, first thing I would probably do is tell him to get away from the window. Hopefully that lets this person, rather not lets them, but makes them not have that attention to that window anymore. Maybe they come to mind, maybe they go away. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would say in almost a last resort, do I want to get out?
Oh yeah.
That's something where I think a lot of people will kind of jump to that conclusion too quickly to just get out. Now, if this person's about to break the window,
of course,
that's why I made that context clear. Like if they're violently trying to break the window, then I'm going to get out. But if they're just kind of banging on the window, asking for money, let's just try to dissipate this by trying to not give it attention. Sir, move over, don't look at them, just try to see what happens from there. Why I said you don't want to get out. Once you get out, what do you do now? Your doors, your depending on the vehicle and how well you can control it, hopefully you didn't unlock all the doors. That's something I worry about with a lot of modern cars.
That's true. That's very true.
Some cars, when you open a door, they might all unlock. Yeah. Weird things happen. So you have to know your vehicle very well. The last thing I want to do is unlock that rear door and let this person open that door. So I want to be very careful with that. If I get out, I want to tell the driver what to do. So for instance, if I get out, it's going to be as soon as you can move, leave me or something, whatever that direction is going to be. There's so much to think about in that moment. And that's why I say that I took that pause in the beginning and just thought there's a lot I could do, all of which is probably better than simply doing nothing. And that's what I'll leave it with.
But there's also a lot of it, I feel like that's very dictated by the situation.
Sure.
First of all, this person has to have come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Is it somebody maybe that is
emotionally disturbed,
maybe a homeless person? Yeah. What is it? And if that's the case, what I always tell people to remember is to have some cash. Mm-hmm. Because maybe cash can solve the problem out the window. Maybe it can solve it enough that he comes up and get attention on you. Mm-hmm. How long are we stuck here?
Right.
If this is something that hasn't moved for a while, your response could be a little different because the minute you get out of the car, you're dedicated. Right? You're dedicated to deal with the problem and you might have to be left behind. What does that do for the rest of the detail? And when is it time to get out? Mm-hmm. If it's a homeless kind of like disturbed person or whatever, it can turn violent pretty fast. Do you really want to deal with that?
right? And is it the time to deal with it? If you have a second car, I would always have the second front right driver. If there's two, deal with it with the front car, because we can easier spare him than anybody else.
Yeah, right? You're used to these big details.
Yeah, I am, and it's a luxury to have, right? Yeah. And I've actually seen it happen a lot with street vendors as well that come up and want to sell you stuff and knock on the window, especially when you're driving countries where you get stuck, and even in some high-risk countries, right? And again, cash is always king. And if you can focus their attention on something else, that's always good, because you also got to remember that a lot of times people also come up and look in the windows in a lot of high-risk countries to see what's in there. And that what dictates which cars get robbed later on or carjacked later on, if there's like a lot of expensive stuff or whatever. So you really got to pay attention to it. But there is no simple answer to it. I say that it's very situational dictated.
Yeah.